Remember, recover, return. Yeah, I'm fed up, man, the world's in decay. Everybody's selfish, lost in the sway. Church got secrets, but here's what I say. Truth ain't that complex, it's been here always. Look, they twisted the story, flipped it disguised. Told us to search out there, but truth's inside. The church got a vault where the knowledge stay hid, but the greatest all tried to show us what they did. Yeshua, Magdalene, they unlocked the soul. Kelly and Shiva showed how to get whole. Mother Mary whispered, the kingdom's within. Tesla sparked visions that ain't just pretend. It's simple, yo, go inward, get still. Tune in the ancestors, feel what they feel. Ether, plasma, that energy's yours. The door is always open, stop waiting for more. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. They got us divided, distracted by screens, lost in illusions, caught up in schemes. But Joan of Arc stood, even burned at the stake. She knew the truth that no fire could break. Maria Orsic tried to tell us to rise. Tesla drew circuits straight from the skies. Edgar Cayce, dreaming through time and space, gave us the blueprint, the whole human race. Haters beat hums in the heart of the earth, reminds us all of divine rebirth. The path is ancient, but clear as day. Go inside, that's the only way. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. We just gotta remember what we forgot. Recover the truth that the world cannot. Return to the source, it's inside, it burns. Yo, this is the time to remember, recover, return. They want us divided, consumed by the lies. Tell us God's distant, beyond the skies. But every great soul, every prophet who came said, look within, it's one and the same. Shiva, Kali, destroy, rebuild. The blueprint's ancient, it's how we get filled. You don't need a middleman selling the way. The truth's in the silence when you choose to stay. But let's remember what Tesla laid.
Yeah, I said take me to the water. I think I've got a new plan. And I draw that plan in the sand. Cause now I'm weak. Now I'm weak. And now I'm strong. I'm incomplete when you're not around. When you're not around. When you're not around. Dun, 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 dun. Take me to the water. I think I've got a new plan. Well, I come drown in the sand. Oh, when the sun hits the water and lights up lights in your eyes. I said there's something about her. 'Cause now I'm weak, boom. And now I'm strong. I'm incomplete, douche. When you're not around, when you're not around, yeah, I'm weak, and now I'm strong. I'm incomplete when you're not around, when you're not around, when you're not around. I've been remember, recover, return, my brothers and sisters. But I've been thinking a lot about for people a reminder. The only person that comforted me about the UFO, although he didn't, we were in first grade, or second grade. And although I think he, honestly, at 7 years old, didn't know for sure, but he's the only person. He is literally the only individual person. Because when I seen Maria's UFO in my backyard and spoke to her, I thought it was great news. I was so happy. I was so, and I can see and just feel like the hot and cold. Like, I guess I've always been this way, because I was very, you might say, hot, on fire to tell the world, like, I didn't even know how to say it. All I knew, I guess suppose I wanted to say, there are people that can come from the future, from, outside of reality, and help us. And they fly on these UFOs. And she was a sweet, kind lady, And so, being the actual essence that I am, I was so excited and thought it would, be a uplifting thing for everything. Because honestly, now in retrospective, honestly, it wasn't me. It wasn't my vibration that was so depressive, oppressive in my house. It was my mother. And she's just an average, regular person, had her heart broken, had her life, shattered. Puts all of her trust in a fake God. It doesn't exist, or if he did exist, he's evil. If he won't heal children, he's evil. If he won't heal children, he's evil. If he won't protect children from 2,000-pound bombs, he's evil. And if he won't do anything about the people profiting and deciding to drop those bombs, then he's evil. And don't give me, he gave us free will. You know what? It sounds very Aleister Crowley to me. Crowley, 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 crow, 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 crow. I think I've been thinking about writing a song. Just like, crow, 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 crow. Because people are like, oh, he rhymed Crowley with holy or something. I don't have any respect for, it's just come, like, I don't even know. I have a personal experience with Aleister Crowley, but I don't even pay attention to him. I've never read one of his whole books. I've listened to the Book of the Law, and I listen to other shit, and it's like music is just, I don't like it. Before I knew Maria. And now it's just, honestly, it's just in a way, just an elementary base, foundational thing of like, I just don't like you. Without knowing that you're a pedophile, without knowing that you're a manipulator, that you're a slave master and all that, I don't respect that. Do you, Michael Tsarian? Fuck you, dude. I curse you, you fucking dumb bitch. To come this far to say, whoa, man, you're just a dork, dude. You'll always be a fucking bookworm dork. And people might be, why you get so personal? Why you get so hate? Michael Tsarian's never going to hear this. He don't give a fuck about you. Because, man, it's funny. It's in a way supernatural. Like now, like people, like I had a terrible, crazy experience with like Manly P. Hall and how evil he is, and he's the basis of Hollywood that we have today. He's the Kabbalah Hollywoodist, the Kabbalist in Hollywood that brought forth all this woke and all this fucking shit, and Maria hates his fucking guts. I don't know anything about him. I am a Christian my whole life. A Rasta and then a Christian. We have nothing to do with Masonic. It's so crazy. It's like the real Christian, the fake Christian. The real Christian would hate Manly P. Hall's guts. Why? Why, Joe? He's a Satanist. He believes in that we need evil to balance the force. And, it's on a personal... For Maria Orsic, as her spokesman, I'm just telling you, I am a songwriter from Spanish Lake, Missouri. I don't know anything about this. She lived in the middle of this. I'm her spokesman, and she hates him. It's like saying to me, what do you think about Alexander the Great emotionally? I don't know. I had nothing. What do I personally think of Manly P. Hall? I think, but before I knew, I would have just said nothing. I don't know. I don't know who he is. I don't know the fuck he is. He's the Masonic scholar of Hollywood that taught the Jews all this Kabbalah. I mean, I'm sure he is Jewish. Look at the little ugly bitch. But as Maria's spokesman, I am speaking for her that she hates him. And, because I love her, I trust her. I know, I see, I'm rational, I understand. I don't even know how to explain it, Like, you cannot like Maria and her enemies. And I never know we take no thought before we do these. But I never know really what we're going to talk about, but I see now. And, how do we, let me just tell my story. Like people don't, because they don't want to hear it. They want to hear their own things, and let me tell you, I've talked to people, about, they've contacted me, strangers from the internet, they contacted me about Maria Orsic. Like I had one girl basically trying to tell me she is Maria Orsic, and I'm like, you didn't listen to my story. Like, you have your story. That you are Maria, just, okay, go on and do it. We're not trying to live and let live, right? But if you care, if you want to be connected to me, if you want to be one with me and Maria, hear my story. As a child, I had a relationship with the river and this rock garden. This first place I ever smoked herb was in a beautiful, stones from all over the world, a whole, giant, 150-foot diameter or more, 300-foot rock garden. Maybe I'll get some pictures and try to post it in these talks coming up. That's where my friend lived right before he killed himself. He lived there for many years. And it is, directly on the bluffs overlooking the Missouri River. And he grew up his whole life like I did in the same house, like a couple houses down from this rock garden. So the reason we would smoke herb there is nobody had fences in this, almost these huge, couple acre yards. And we would take our joint and just walk a few yards over into a beautiful rock garden and smoke. And like, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to tell you my story. It's not, you could take Maria Orsic out of it. I could have, if she would have told me to, I would have just always referred to her by her magic name, the Missouri River Goddess. And every single person initiated was given her magic name. And besides Mindy, I never seen any one of them use it whatsoever. It's just like, that's his thing, we're doing our thing. Okay. And Maria, who's here with me, said, but it worked, didn't it? We got the work done. The atmosphere, the energy worked. We're here. We're getting the work done. Right? And see, my story isn't some, psychic intuition shit from reading shit off the internet. This is my life from the very beginning. And you can say you're just making up shit, fuck you. And someone's going to come along and your real story, and they're going to say you're just making up shit. So what code do you live by? Huh, nigga? Oh, you don't have one because you're a slave and you need a slave master. And look, I don't want to get angry because I already am. But I was being reminded I have sort of a crisis in my life. And this is all very... I was telling my friend the other day he lives right by me. He goes to the Missouri River almost on a daily basis and walks in. He said, Joe, people have no idea. It's magic. It's magic. The birds are magic down there. The animals are magic down there. The trees are magic down there. The whole river, it's magic. He's like, I believe it. He believes me. He doesn't know anything about Maria Orsic or Nazis or World War II, really. But he knows about the river. So suck a fucking dick, And why would I say something so lewd and, because it is, it is spitting on the sacred. It's destroying the sacred by choosing, like, let me just get back to, I'm sorry. I'm angry. But, like, I had a crisis in my life. Like, I really felt like, this is like a few months before my friend killed himself. And I wrote a lot of songs. I was telling, and I'm not a depressed person. And I wasn't at the time. I've been unhealthy at times where my own immune system was destroying my body. And listen, people, listen. If you don't suffer from that, listen. What do you think that does in your mind? Especially as a child. To be like, I have allergy. You know what that means? That means I feel like shit every fucking day. And in my mind, it's wearing me down to, is life even fucking worth living if all I feel like is shit? So it wasn't my essence. It was this world. It was the facts of this world. You know what you inherit from your parents? The environment, the food, and the water, and the habits. That can be the greatest curse you ever fucking... If you don't suffer and you're like, I'm an alpha male, I'm strong, and I lift weights, and blah, 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 then you don't know what I'm fucking talking about. Go follow Trump and go lick his fucking ass, because locker room talk. Because what? Everything's a golf game. Everything's just a sports event, for you fucking shallow-ass pussies who won't stand up for the rights of man. But I had this crisis of like, am I with the right person? Am I living the, should I change things? Like, what is real? I was really struggling with like, I don't feel anything. It's like, it's very strange to be an artist and be like with someone who's not. So their perspective is just to enjoy, I don't know, to enjoy life. Like, they don't look at work outside of money as work. It's just like, that's his hobby. Oh, really? My hobby is what my life is about? Because that's a projection from you onto me. No. My work is me, motherfucker. Why? Why, Joe? Oh, that's why your music's not successful, and that's why you've never, made money. Yeah, because it's me. It's real. It's original. It might not be good, but it's me and not me trying to write a song that would be popular. I mean, it's just a history of, real artists barely getting, some of them, and some of them are pretty successful. I would consider Robert Plant, a real artist, and he's super successful, but he's also, very just naturally blessed with a beautiful voice, and believe me, to sing with all your air and, to make it pretty and beautiful takes health. You have to be very healthy. Like, I listen to my own music from like late 90s, early 2000s, and I just automatically, I'm like, oh, this is this period in my sickness, my physical sickness. Like, I can hear it in my voice. It bothers me. And it reminds me of like, how much of a struggle it was to play in time and shit, because your immune system is like connected to your whole timing and balance and equilibrium. That's the word I was looking for. Right, class? Your immune system. The like invisible energy vril, like Maria said, let's stop bullshitting. What the fuck is your immune system? It's the sort of essence energy in you that's pulling the vril out of the sun, out of the atmosphere. Your immune system is your vril system. It's directly connected with your sexual desire. And if someone's like, you know what, I don't have any sex, because you're a zombie, you're dead. I had someone leave something in the comments of, like, I know what you're talking about, the ancient tantric of, not having sex and withholding your... No, we're not talking about that. That's someone else's way. Go follow them. We follow our way. Right? Our way is not to dam up the river, not to it's to flood the world with energy. What energy? The energy that you should spend time in the, what we call back home, the eternal orgasm. It's not just fulfilling the natural appetite. Appetite and libido are the same thing, just revolving. Energy. Why do you need to do that? The same reason you need to eat. And yeah, you might need to fast for a day, but to say crazy things like our practice is to not release that energy, like you are not of us. You're opposite of us. And like Maria said, let me speak, Joe. I hate you. You're funny. Wow. Like you're no different than a Catholic priest telling kids that they're wrong for masturbating. You dumb fuck. You're dumb. I'm sorry, and I'm getting angry. I can't. But again, let me say this. Guilt is a useless emotion. Can you handle that? Guilt is a useless emotion. Guilt is a useless feeling to feel. It's useless. Let me tell you what motivates. Just the absolute, and I know some of us know that, I don't even want to say it, but just the absolute someone crushing your heart of like my girlfriend, I talk about, well, I don't think I was even 16, so, believe me, I know how childish this is, but, we, in this ritual, in Maria Orsic's ritual, I don't want anyone to ever forget that it was mainly about me walking backwards through my life and understanding the major situations that made me who I was right there that night, right now. Like that's the main revelation outside of the matrix, outside of your body. That should be the main revelation for our people. And like I read that Robert Monroe dude's books and I was like, this has nothing to do with what I do. What's the fucking point, dude? You never really get to, and then he does get you to the point of, oh, we're all one. We're going to melt back into the whatever. Fuck you. I'm not you, nigga. I ain't melting back into fucking shit. I'm staying me no matter fucking what. And I ain't doing it again, nigga. I'm not. I don't know what exactly is going to happen when I die, but I tell you one thing. I'm going with the attitude of motherfucker. I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm not trying this life again. I'll be fucking damn. I don't believe that that's going to happen to me, but that's my attitude just in case. I don't care if fucking God is. If something says, let me cut to the chase. This is where I'm getting. How do you test this fucking shit and know what you're talking about, right? If I die tonight and something says I'm God, I'm gonna be like, fuck you. You suck. I don't give a fuck what you say. You didn't create me. And I can prove it. I can prove you didn't create me. And the Christians with their stupid bullshit. Oh, are you saying you've never did anything wrong? Are you saying you're such a fucking prick that you would ask someone that? You're a fucking prick. And I curse these fucking people for real. Because it's over for America. Death is coming. The Grim Reaperess to America. Right? You want a fucking mantra? May the green, yeah, the green plant goddess of the America, Santa Maria. She is the Grim Reaperess, with all her hair hidden behind that black hood. But she's been working out and dancing every day, so her arms are pretty fucking strong to swing that sickle. And it may seem like America has been riding high for a long time, but in all reality, 75 years since World War II, since 1948, since 1945, 80 years, right? Isn't that long in eternity? Isn't even that long for a fucking empire? And it's going, it is so, and who cares? I don't care if you remember I said this in her name, Maria's name, but you're going to see America punished by the very God whom I had no fucking clue who he was in the year 2000, or actually it's 2001, in June of 2001. I was I was on an airplane, in a dream, on an airplane. And it was crashing. It was so low, it was starting to hit, like, the very tops of trees. And I was completely, totally not knowing I'm dreaming. I'm like, I'm going to die right now. I'm just going to relax and let it happen. That there's nothing I can do. And the pilot was on the air, and he was going, there's nothing I can do. People, I'm trying to fucking do this, And I felt sorry for him. Like, we're all going to die. It's just some crazy accident, And the next morning, I was taking this flight to California. And I dreamed this in the fucking, like, an hour before leaving. I woke up from this dream that I got on the plane and it crashed. I called my friend. I did have a cell phone, but I called my friend. I said, dude, I mean, how often do you dream that the plane you're going to take's going to crash? And he's like, but brother, I really want to see you. He's like, I don't think it's going to crash. I think it was meant to teach us. He's like, I think you should get on the plane. Come see me. I'll see you in like 5 hours, 4 hours. I'll be at the airport, and you tell me the dream, and we're going to go figure out what it means. And it makes me sad that I've lost contact with my friend. You want to know why I lost contact with him? Because logically, rationally, I was scared of him, because Christians are so crazy. The moment I told him that I didn't think the book of Revelation, I knew for a fact that the book of Revelation was a cut and pasted, piece of work that wasn't original. And I could just feel through the phone, like, I knew his thoughts. Oh, God, Joe's been deceived. He's turning away from Jesus, For real. Cult. It's a cult. It's a gigantic cult. Just like Islam, just like Judaism. And you might say, and Hinduism right now? No. Because the Hindu Vedas tell you not to take it literal. They're like, do you really think Indra is actually on a lotus floating down the Ganges River dreaming this world? Or is that just a metaphor for you're in an illusion? I mean, come on. Get fucking real. It's like the Christians. I watched a lady give thanks to Jesus Christ that she was dying of cancer. She had 4 little children, dude, in absolute agony. The whole church is crying. They're playing this video on the screen of her saying, and she had already died, and her saying, I give thanks to Jesus for giving me this cancer, because it's taught me everything. And I relived this in a ritual, and I was like, I went off into another world with that lady, and she was like, I now know how stupid I was. And just, I was like, oh my God, you know it? And she was like, of course. As soon as I died, I realized my entire life was for nothing. All those hours of prayer. Where the fuck is Jesus? He don't exist. He don't exist. He don't exist. If he did exist, he's a goddamn bitch that won't heal children or old women or my grandma or anyone. And people are like, but he gave me a good job and he did that. Because he's evil. Yeah, he loves money. Because what? What religion is he from? Oh, the money-loving religion. And don't you love the polarity of the world, that if you point out a certain religion is actually crazily a paradox of a racist religion. A religion that's like, we're chosen, we're supreme, and you're all Gentiles. What is the word for tiles? Scales. You're the genes of a fish. You're evolution. You're an animal. We're magic. And I fucking curse you white people who believe in that bullshit. You're so fucking stupid. I mean, that's the other polarity of white people. Like, yeah, I am an animal. That's why I need Jesus and the Judaism or whatever. I mean, you're fucking nuts. You're fucking nuts. You're a cult member fucking. And I totally understand Maria of like, Joe, this is how peace came to the earth, is separating ourselves forever from people like you. People who will never learn, will never change, because you're not good, you're the masses. And I can hear Maria saying, and you wonder, Joseph, why you have no commercial success. They are the market, the masses are the market. And that's why we hate Manly P. Hall. Because he's a businessman. He's an occult businessman. Oh, don't you get that? Oh, you don't, do you? But let's get back to the river, right? In this ritual, I had drank my tea, and I had been going backwards in time, and I had a lot of experiences in my right before as I describe in the video, my first shamanic experience, which was an accident. I've been telling people. But what's crazy is a lot of experiences led up to that, including about 2 weeks before that happened, me and my brother, Timmy, we took the same mushrooms that we later would take the 2 weeks later. Same, batch, you might say. With some, which I've never done since then, actually. We mixed it with, real ecstasy, which would be like MDMA, which is what class? Synthetic mushrooms. So stupid. So fucking stupid. Suck a dick if you choose man-made chemicals over nature. What? Like, you have the choice. It's available, nigga. And I asked Maria the other day, I said, I guess you're in control, lady. I guess you don't want me smoking natural DMT. Because I've asked a few people through the years, because it came to my mind. If it never came to my mind, I would never ask. But every once in a while, I would ask my friend who I know someone who makes it naturally, completely naturally. And believe me, this is very illegal. I don't possess any. I don't make it. I don't know anything about it. I'm telling you right now that it's been 14 years or something. So for the evil out there, I'm not promoting anything illegal. I'm talking about my experiences. Like any other post. But to trust man means you're not our people. Like that's the basis of the true self is you can't trust anyone else. And for a chemist to come to you and say, I made something that will alter your mind. End of story. We ain't having nothing to do with you. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. You got legal marijuana everywhere, and you're going to choose to do a man make, because you know why? It's emblematic that you trust man. Right? But I started off, I'm going to complete this whole, thing with this memory that was relived. With saying, like, your story, don't project your fucking story onto me. I didn't know who Maria Orsic was. No one cares. People taunt me all the time. Look at your videos. You get no views. I watch them go backwards all the time. I watch the likes go backwards. I watch the views go backwards. The other day I was posting on Rumble, and one of the videos of Ronald McDonald in the Zio death circus, and the prediction that there's going to be 100 terrorist attacks, so-called, against America and against Christian Western world. They're going to make it a war of civilizations. Watch. And they will taunt me and say, well, nobody listened to you. You have 50 views. And check this out. Swear to the gods on Rumble. This is how obviously they censor everything for Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Two of the dorkiest clowns that ever fucking walked the earth. You dick suckers. No shit. I posted the video a week later, all the videos around it had 50, 60, 70 views. That one had 1. As if people just couldn't see it at all. That for some reason they were just completely just skipping over that video that had a cover of Donald Trump as Ronald McDonald Trump. With his big fat ass eating his fucking Big Macs. And I'm not saying you can't have a cheat day and eat some fast food or something, but be smart about it, Eat something pretty healthy, eat something that's not bad for your body. Right? Where do we draw the line? Don't put anything bad in your body. What's bad? Chemicals and preservatives and shit. Probably the worst thing about McDonald's is probably the solution. They soak the meat in with some kind of MSG type, mind control drug. MSG is a mind control drug. It tastes weird, but it makes your mind think other shit tastes better, tastes good. It's a sort of MAO, inhibitor of taste. This is no bullshit. They discovered this from shamanism. If you haven't heard that, that's true. And I'm not the first person to say that, but they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know they put mind control drugs in the food. What is it called? It's called carrageen, and it's in all kinds of natural food. That's why I don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck if you're eating from Whole Foods, because they're still putting the mind control drugs in it. Because you know why? They're natural plants. But when they're super duper manipulated, and then, okay, that uses a blocker for enzymes that release like dopamine. It's no bullshit. So that your food gets you high. And I know we've all experienced this. My girlfriend used to say, I'm laughing like I just smoked a joint, because she did smoke. It was too much for her. But she would say after like a big dinner, she would say like, I am, laughing, giggling like I'm high on marijuana. I mean, she was very observant, very smart. This is the world we live in. It's that evil that they're like, hey, you know what? They will buy this food more if it gets them high. And where am I going with this? The teaching here is how to test the voices that you hear and the things that you're seeing. How do you know who's speaking to you? How do you know? How can you protect yourself from being deceived, right? What is you in your inner voice, and what is not you? Baseline, foundational. What is you and what isn't you? Right? You know how I had to find out the hard way? That motherfucker, what I was trusting was goddamn wrong. You know why? Your true self is willing to deceive the avatar for his own purposes, to lead you to a destiny. This is the meaning of Christ on the cross saying, Father, why have you forsaken me? Is the avatar coming to full recognition, full realization that he is in the middle of a drama, a techno virtual drama, and realizing it means it's coming to an end soon for you. And soon in Venusian is, hundreds of years. You might, let me just tell you the truth. In my world, like, it's hard for me to be close to anyone because they're not interested in my story. And I don't really know about this is what I do. This is my art. And I don't really like to talk about boring things like politics, because I know all that. I'm totally aware of all that. You're just repeating like a parrot. And I don't like to talk about religion with people who don't know my story, because they're just instantly offended. Not my Jesus. My Jesus isn't a pedophile. Then how do you explain Mark 15, nigger? Go look your fucking Bible up. And you tell me why the fuck anyone would be praying in the middle of the night in a public park in a grove with a boy, a young man, naked. And you know what? See, I'm saying that in the awareness of the Kabbalah and of the New York case of the rabbi who gave the baby herpes. Look it up. Defender of evil. I can hear Maria saying, how many times can you get mad tonight? But our teaching tonight, our point tonight is that a process, your life experience, the data collecting of your life, and hanging in there and not giving up is the way you test this shit. See, I was having supernatural experiences. That's why I left Rastafari. I never had any as Rastafarian. Never heard a voice. I just heard my own thoughts. I never had to ask myself, is this the Holy Spirit? Is this me? Who is this speaking? And that fucking voice didn't really clearly answer me. Okay, from the day I started asking that question, hey, motherfuckers, about a year late to the game, nigger. Well, it wasn't until I was like 29 years old that I was like, hold it. Everyone don't hear their own like voice in their head before they think it or before they say it. No. And I started to put together like, oh, well, maybe that's why I play music and write lyrics. Because I took that shit really serious, of trying to do something interesting, something good, like something original. And I didn't know. My mom was the most unaware, dumbest person you could ever imagine. Like she just believed that you believe in Jesus and watch TV till you're dead. I mean, as a kid, that's all I remember is my programs and, this is going to be on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just not that kind of person. I'm not like a very, I don't know. I don't like it. It's very oppressive. It's very low energy to me. Very, very low energy. It's like the sports watchers. It's super low. And I understand if you have kids and that's what they want to. I totally get that. I mean, I let my kids play sports and I went to their games and shit because I'm their dad, but it doesn't mean I like it. I was willing to do it for my children, not because I like baseball or not because I like football or whatever. It don't even matter to me. Even if it's fucking... My wife is like, well, I like figure skating or that's like dancing. I like... Dude, once you turn it into like a competition, I don't look down on you. Go enjoy figure skating. I don't like it though. Well, come on. And see, I don't try to change people into me. But other people try to change me into them. Oh, come on, join me. Just sit here and watch it and be entertained. Like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just sit here and watch a movie? Because the movie sucks. I already know. It's uncreative. The story is not creative. It's been told a million times. I'm sick of it. Oh, but this person's... I don't care. It's the fucking story's not good. And that reminds me, I'm going to try to get out soon. We're trying to start like the Maria Orsic's ritual blog, maybe on like WordPress or something like that. And I want to try to get a story out. This is a true story. It's okay. Let's say it this way. It's based on a true story, based on an actual event, and the rest of it's true too. But an actual event that happened to me. I was driving to work. I actually pinched myself and said, "Am I fucking dreaming?" I was driving to work. I was almost to work. It's a bright, sun shining, like warm summer day. I had all the windows down. And I was like, motherfucker. Right, like a mile before I get off to right at my office. All the cars are like backing up, and I'm like, there's a fucking accident on this street. Right here. And I'm like, okay, well, it's kind of moving. Like, the cops weren't there yet. And dude, I still this day, I swear to the gods, I swear on Maria Orsic's name, I swear on my own heart, there was no car pulled over. At first, I seen a car pulled over on the shoulder, a black, I wouldn't say Cadillac. You know, and that's why I thought there was a wreck. But as I got closer, that car drove off. And I'm like, what the fuck is everyone looking at? You know, because each car is like slowing down real slow. I mean, like 5 miles an hour. And swear to gods, I would not make this up. I went by, and like every other motherfucker, I looked at like the shoulder, and people were like driving around something. Okay, one lane was completely driving around something in the road. I did not know until I got right to it. Swear to God. There's a cat, a orange, like tabby, kind of lion looking regular house cat, laying in like that lane, in the sort of middle of the lane, without a head. And like I said, I actually pinched my face and went, am I fucking dreaming? And I am not kidding. Like 15 feet away was the head of the cat, laying not right in the middle of the street, but more to the shoulder. And like a bunch of blood, you know. The reason why I seen the head is the blood like led to the head. Like a little, like, I just could not believe my fucking eyes. Anyway, this is why I was doing a ritual with Maria. And, like, my ritual started with, like, a voice saying to me, a man's, like, evil voice, like, saying to me, Leo, we did that for you. We're going to cut your head off. And they used to always tell me they're going to bury me alive, you know. And Maria used to tell them, bring it on, try it. Let's do it. Cut my head off, bitch. Bury me alive. You raped my friend. You've done all this to other people. Like, that's how much they torture you. That's how much they stalk you. And that's how much they target you, that you're like, oh, really? If you could cut my head off, then why don't you? If you could take me and bury me alive, then why don't you? You're the one who tried to stab me in the neck with a butcher knife when I had 3 little kids at home, including a newborn baby. Right? 2 little girls and a newborn baby. You're the one that tried to stab me in the neck with a giant butcher knife for helping someone. It's an actual person. Like, if you're wondering why you're targeted, let me tell you, what this is all about is like testing what's going on those other planes, knowing for sure. Who the fuck are you dealing with? Right? You know, I tested Maria. I didn't know she was Maria. I tested the Missouri River Goddess. This woman that was telling me she was the Missouri River Goddess, I said to her one time, well, you gave me one dream, but it's written, let a thing be established by 2 or more witnesses. She was like, oh, really? She was like, how about 3 dreams? I'll give you, and I swear, the next week I had two dreams in one night. 2 completely separate dreams in one night about bears that I've never dreamed about a fucking bear in my entire fucking life. And then I dream 2 back-to-back dreams. I wake up in the middle of the night sweating, going, holy fuck, man, I just dreamed I almost got killed by a fucking wild bear. I go back to sleep and have a dream about a friendly cub bear that was my best friend, was holding my hand, walking upright. We were like, I was singing to the bear. We are walking like Winnie the fucking Pooh down a path, and I was whistling, and he said, sing, like with his mind. He said, sing me a song, sing me a human song. I was holding the bear's hand, and the bear was walking upright. A baby, like about 4 foot tall, like up to my chest. 5 foot tall, maybe. And is walking upright, and I started singing to the bear, and it was like trying to dance. I swear to the gods. Like, I had that polarity of a dream. That one was a giant like mama bear running around fucking killing kids, just swiping kids with his giant claw and just ripping their fucking faces apart and shit. Eating their necks and shit. Freaking me fucking out. In the dream, it killed my friend's son. And people are like, well, you're just... But I didn't know I was dreaming. I didn't know I was dreaming, man. When I woke up, my fucking heart was beating so goddamn fast. I've had dreams where I told someone, dude, I now believe you could die in your sleep from your dreams. I told my friend that I play music with when it happened. I said, dude, I had a dream the other night. I go, I know how fucking crazy this sounds. But I had a dream the other night. Jesus came to me in the dream. And I was flipping out so hard in the dream. Because I didn't know I was dreaming. I was flipping out so hard that I actually woke up in the bed. I woke up in reality because I was yelling with all my might, who is this man? Who is this man? I was like screaming. And I like how Maria said, you. As my true self, like Lou, the God of this world. He's so cool. He's so awesome. This whole thing is, hey, dude, I'm just here to reflect your true self to you, man. That's the highest work ever. I did not ever hear a motherfucking person ever say that ever in my life. The first person I ever heard say that was like a 2-foot gnome that was actually alive. That's the Amanita muscaria. And people are like, well, fucking, then try it. Motherfucker, try it. Try it 10 fucking times before you say I'm wrong. What am I saying? What am I saying to try? Try drinking 25. Let's say, okay, see, I only weigh 140 pounds. If you were bigger or smaller, you got to kind of adjust this. I drank 20, maybe it was 20 or 22 grams of Amanita muscaria. Amanita muscaria mushroom is nothing like psilocybin. Well, for one thing, it's legal. Amanita muscaria mushrooms are legal. And we're never, ever promoting anything illegal. I'm not saying. I'm saying to do the Amanita muscaria. If you're going to say I'm wrong, and you're going to say this couldn't have happened, you're crazy. I'm just telling you my experience. I woke up, a motherfucking live gnome was telling me to wake up, and I later found out who that person was, and his whole thing was, dude, I was just trying to reflect who you really were to you. He said, you remember, I'm the person you met. Your mother was called an Odin. He was like, Adolf Hitler's my avatar, in that time of World War II, because he was humble. But I'm as completely myself, right? This is what he later told me. He said, remember that day? That was me. I just can shrink myself down because it's my world. You're living in my imagination. Because when I met Lou and he was like 10'8", his natural height as a natural man, that proves that we're different, you know? Just look in the goddamn mirror. He showed me, you're in my imagination. This is my world. By saying to me, hey, listen, you know those Nordic, and I'm serious when I say this. I hope this brings peace to our people. He said, I know you struggle with what does the Nordic myths really mean, you know? He said, I'm Loki. And he's my twin brother. And after he said that, I realized, and I don't care what people think of me, that Adolf Hitler was standing right next to me and started dancing around. And he had a red, gold, and green like uniform on under this brown like monk Obi-Wan Kenobi looking, you know, monk's robe and hood. And he totally took it all off, showed me himself. He was like, dude, I am, you know, I'm Addie. I'm Maria's Addie. I'm the Avatar. I'm Hitler, you know. And he was dancing. And I really loved how he looked. He had very long black hair. And very long, like down to his waist. And he was like dancing with the hair. And he was like, I'm so free now. You know, and I'm so free because of Maria. Like, without Maria, without the mother, we would all be nothing. He's like, she's my mother, too, you know. And all of a sudden, right then, Lucifer said, and we're her sons. You know, 10'8". Me and Hitler are just our normal size. And when Hitler was dancing around me, he was like, Joe, I know you're scared. He's like, but I'm here to tell you, I'm with you. And I'm giving you permission, Joe, to tell the world everything. We're not occultists. We love the people. We love the average man. We love Germany. We love America, the people. We love Europe, the people. We are the people. We represent the people. He's like, I am telling you, don't be embarrassed. Share everything that you've ever been shown. It's my choice, and I'm telling you. He danced around me. He was like, tell everything, my brother. Tell everything, my son. I was like, okay. And Maria was like, you know, the first thing you have to tell somebody is me and him. She pointed, you know, she nodded at Hitler. It was funny to see her around Hitler. So funny. So funny, like how they love each other, how they respect each other. And she's just like, you know, the first thing you're going to have to tell people is me and him are married in a magic wedding like you've seen of your magic wives. She said, I'm his amour. I was like, wow. I already knew that, but I was going wow because I knew she was saying, now, you think people think you're crazy now? Now go tell the whole world Maria Orsic's in a magic marriage with Adolf Hitler. And she said to me, do you know that Adolf Hitler, in the modern age of the smaller man, this is what Maria told me that night when he was standing there, and he was liking hearing this. She was like, you know, he invented true love, what we call true love. She said, you know, I've been teaching you there's love, true love, and eternal true love. She's like, do you know this boy's story over here? She called Hitler a boy. I said, no. And she said, he wouldn't even kiss another girl, wouldn't even really look at another girl because he loved Stephanie so much. And he like nodded yes and started dancing around like, yep, that's true, speak it. For real, he was like dancing back and forth. Like soon as she said it, he nodded yes and started like dancing. Like, yeah, it's absolutely what happened. And she said, that he fell in love with her without ever even talking to her. For real, Maria saying this in front of him to me. I'm going, no shit. This is crazy. She said, yeah, in Germany we used to walk. And Hitler, told her that he loved her till the end of time. He would marry her and die for her. With a look, with a glance. With the glance. And he said, tell him, Maria, tell him, mother, tell him what she did. And Maria said, well, she was a well-off girl. And, the people that walked the town square, if you had a lot of money, you would also, you might walk a couple times for your exercise, but then you got on your cart in your, with your horses. And all done up, all fancy. This is like the Mercedes-Benz, BMW fancy car of, 19 teens, Germany, Austria. And Hitler said, tell him, Maria. She said, and the first time she was on that car and everyone was looking at her, she was like 15 or 14 or something. Hitler was like 15. He said she took her glove off, as is our tradition, German tradition. And Hitler hit me with, that's why I love Germany. I love how we are. We're cool. This is how we are. I was like, I like it. It's different than America. And he's like, she took her glove off, her little white glove, and she threw it to me as I walked by. And I caught it. He's like, it didn't even fall to the ground. I caught it. Believe me, this was the greatest night of my life. This was 5/5, May 5th, 2024. And Maria was like acting like, holding her heart, going, oh my God, that's so beautiful. That's so touching. She actually said with her mind to me, you know what me and Siggy were doing when we were 15. And I said, I don't blame you. I'm sure it felt great. Because you're the most beautiful person ever to exist, Maria. Rhea, the river goddess. How do you test this shit? It's when everything makes sense. And then you see, what the fuck are you? What are you doing? What do you mean? I've had people say absurd things about Maria Orsic to me. And I understood why they're saying them. Because they're under attack. Under serious black magic attack. I don't look down. I looked up. You're under attack. That's why you're, Let me tell you where the black magic attack, where its bull's eye is absurdity. To make you look and be ashamed forever. They love to lead us into absurdity. And I've been fucking fully, like Hitler said, tell it all. I am not kidding you. I am not fucking kidding. I was so suicidal, so low vibration. I was going to the fucking Christian healing crusades. With the hand on the head, like, you're healed kind of shit. I went up on the motherfucking stage, dude. I was on the stage, and it was totally fake. I just fell down because everyone else did. He pushed me down with his. He grabbed my head and was like, "You're healed," and pushed me down. And I was like, I had to give it a try. I went home that night from the miracle healing crusade. I went home and was like, I'm not healed, not at all. I feel exactly the same. And there was times I thought, something was happening, but I would later come to find out, if this God is real, he is the biggest dick that ever fucking existed. Did he just insist and insist and insist upon saying no like a mean parent? No. Why? Because I say so. She's got a tumor growing in her head, giving her spasms. No. It's not funny. I totally laugh seeing myself so desperate. I was so afraid that my child was going to die. I mean, and believe me, people out there listening, anyone's out there listening that had a sick kid, that had a chronically sick kid, like, I could not feel more sympathy for anyone. I mean, I was so scared to have a doctor telling me, like, listen, this could be bad, this could be cancer, this could be a tumor, like, I want you to be prepared to fight. And it doesn't mean he's going to die if it is, because they knew, dude, a 3-year-old, 3-year-old kid doesn't start urinating 25 times a day, 4 times an hour. It was unbelievable. And like I say, there's people out there, I'm sure it's experienced a lot worse. But when your child is coming to you like, I have to go to the bathroom again, and you're like, what is going on? Like, the second day, I was just like, oh my God, we have to take him to the doctor. Like, and I was a Rasta. I didn't believe in I didn't believe in doctors and shit, but you're like, what the fuck is going on? I mean, you can't believe your eyes. And I know there's hundreds or millions of people who have had children die and I worked with a lady. She got a call at work that this is no lie, I would never lie about this, that I believe she was 5 or 6 years old, that they had discovered a tumor in her brain. And we never seen her again. She quit. She left work and never came back. And it's no lie, she lived like a few miles from a nuclear waste dump that they tell people is safe. Which, I'm going to tell the truth right now, whether it bores people or not. Check this out. I experienced this. I worked there in this area. They took this area that was downwind. This is truth. This is how evil America is. People listening in other countries. This is how outright immoral and evil America is. And this was after our friend's daughter got a brain tumor, like a year after. This is in one of the most populated counties of America, one of the fastest growing counties in Missouri and America at that time. And downwind from this nuclear waste dump, they split a little corner that just right went with the downwind into 3 different counties. 3 different cities. So you had St. Charles, St. Peter's, O'Fallon, and even another one. I can't even remember the other one, DeSoto or something like that. They split these into little bitty cities to split the cancer rates so that you would not see that right in this area the cancer rates for children had skyrocketed. When it was all St. Charles, it looked horrible, but they split it into 4 different cities so they could manipulate the numbers, and you never heard the story again. The story was national news, that around this so-called safe nuclear waste dump, it's cancer, rare cancers, were skyrocketing. I watch in real time. They take this area and split it into 3 different municipalities, 3 different cities. Actually 4. 3 cities and then a different county that they shifted some of the land to. The worst stuff. And they wanted to tell you, check this out. The very people who own the Budweiser Busch Beer Company just so happened to own and bought all the land from the United States military industrial site where they built the nuclear bombs they dropped on Japan. They built them in Missouri at this place. And although they didn't have like an actual reactor, they had like a semi-reactor to keep the uranium or whatever, what they brought there, hot, you know. So check this out. Without ever giving any explanation, the Busch Beer Company, Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch Beer Company, bought all the land, made, I am not kidding you, 100 fake ponds and rivers, and listen, turned the nuclear waste site into a conservation area for people to come and fish and hang out at. And right in your view, maybe I'll put these pictures of this, hopefully, if I have time. It's real, though. You can look it up. Weldon Springs Interpretive Nuclear Waste Site, St. Charles County, Missouri, whatever. You'll find it's famous because they built a giant concrete pyramid of rocks over a bubbling, the shit's so hot that it's still bubbling, still active and could explode and shit. And, just throw in there real quick, I delivered there all the time. I delivered there like for 2 years. And I hated driving there for a minute, but I think at least I was only there for a few minutes, And this is no lie. Sweetest lady, the secretary in the building. I mean, no more than 100 yards away from this bubbling nuclear waste site with this giant pyramid of rocks on it. The secretary got cancer and died. She was only in her 40s and died by the time that I had left. Within the 2 years, she was already dead, like a fast-acting cancer. This is no truth. I'm just what am I getting at? I don't want to get too far away from the point. That's how evil they are, was my point. But the point is, like, how do you come to know how to test things you're confronted with supernaturally? I mean, like Maria said, there's no other way than your total wisdom and understanding, based on the truth of gathering data, information, non-emotionally, step back, look at all the data, analyze that data. The first thing and main thing is to remove the contradictions. Things that are clearly contradictions should be removed, right? Like this. Example. God is the creator of all things, Genesis. In the beginning, let there be light. Right? And then you get to this. I create good. I'm God. I create everything. I create good and I create evil. I thought you were all loving. Why would you create evil? And Maria's like, I know, it's sad, Joe, that our people are so stupid. You see, that's the clue that this is a myth and not actual, literal reality. That's a deflated letdown. The Bible is a supernatural book. Supernaturally evil. Why? It's meant to be. It's meant for the porch nigga. It's meant for the porch slave. You know what I'm talking about? The middle class who think they're rich. The middle class that want to fit in. Go on, nigga. Who cares? I'm not talking to anyone particular, believe me. I'm not in contact with anyone. I haven't been for a year. I haven't. My world is this. And, it's hard for me to have a conversation without referencing this. Maria and what she's taught me and, what I do. You know what I mean? I want to relate it back to that. But I also want to go, I just heard Maria tell me, it's important for you to tell your story, Joe, about the ritual with me. I said, okay. And then we'll try to tie this together. But I drank my tea one night. I left my body. Me and Maria were getting very used to this. This was, a year or so into it. And I was having a life review every week. It might have something, there's different parts. But it would always, the main part would be going back. Not always perfectly chronologically. But sometimes jumping around. But basically going back to where I was younger and younger and younger. And my true self, I'm sure my avatar was I've been doing this for a year. The only thing I've seen about my earthly wife is that very first ritual that I seen, the magic marriage with her. And my true self just plainly said to me, yes, because you didn't know her before that. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. You met her that day. Man, they're like, that's what a prearranged marriage is about. It's about not even telling you who you're marrying. You see that when that priest said, do you see this? I didn't even know who I was marrying. I didn't even know. I just said what I seen. Just, what do you see? This is what I see. And he was saying to, it was like my true self was saying, I know you want to know more about, her and before you came here. I mean, it's not that we completely don't know each other. It's that we don't meet until we know, until the gods have already told us. You have a frequency match. You see, with me and with other people, sometimes it's a balance. It's matches, but the energy has to be balanced. Someone can be like you, but be weaker or stronger. And that's just figures of speech for different. Right? Like Maria said, what's the main thing with her? I said, I was at the point, my mind was stressed. I go, I don't even know. And she goes, she's left-handed. I go, holy fuck. I could never imagine that meant anything. And she's like, because you're right-handed. I'm left-handed. And I was shocked all of a sudden of like, that is crazy that does make someone so naturally different. She's like, yeah. It's like she's spinning counterclockwise, like the way we want you to, like you should be. Left to right. Counterclockwise. Against the spin of the earth. It was like, she was like, Joe, I'm not even talking literal. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. There's like a spin, a flow of mainstream conformity. You got to go against that. You got to go against the spin of the earth. The earth is naturally spinning, but the people on earth are saying, yeah, let's spin with the earth and just go along with shit, you know? And, so I know, I shouldn't say I suppose. I know my true self does love me and had answered my prayer. Like somewhere, Maria was totally teaching me to pray to my true self. And I most definitely prayed to my true self to see more about my legal, normal, my wife, Joey. And, man, like I said, maybe 9 months, 10 months, or maybe even a whole year went by. And all of a sudden I drank my mushrooms out with Maria. And she's like, just relax, Joe. Just keep going, just keep fighting, just relax and let yourself remember, and when you get to the memory, you will have the full understanding. You will see the different frequencies and vibrations coming out of each person, And I know, a lot of this can be traumatic events for some people, but for me, a lot of it was good things. Very powerful, positive, uplifting things like this. This is no lie. We were in 7th grade. Matter of fact, it was the summer before 7th grade. Me and my friend. Somehow, we had, for the first time ever, smoked some herb at his neighbor's pool party with the high school people. And we had so much fun. We were laughing. I mean, we had the best time ever. And we loved it. And I guess it was, from my memory, it was just a few weeks later, maybe a month later, somehow, my friend, Scotty, he was great at securing things, getting things. And he calls me up. He's like, you got to come over. Plan to spend the night, at least one night, maybe two. He's like, bring some clothes. That's how we did things. And even if my mom wouldn't drive me or didn't have a car, I'd walk. He would meet me halfway, and we'd walk together. Probably a total of 3 miles. I wasn't close. It was pretty far. But we would do it if we had to. Before sitting home doing nothing. And I so remember this. He's like, dude, look at this. I get dropped off his house. He's like, we go up in his room. He's like, you're not going to believe this. Look at this. He pulls out a joint. I mean, we're 12, I'm like, where'd you get that? He's like, Wonderlick. It was his neighbor. He's like, he gave it to me. He's like, have fun. Imagine this was like an 18, 19-year-old kid gave a 12-year-old kid a little skinny joint. It was very little actual herb. But man, were we excited. And he's like, let's go down to the rock garden. I want to go down to the rock garden. So we go down there and we get high as fuck. We smoked the whole joint. And we're like, damn, dude, we're fucking hippies, dude. We're fucking Cheech and Chong now. It was the second time we ever smoked herb. We're like, we're Cheech and Chong now. Like, hey, dude. Hey, man. Hey, man. Like, that was our goal in life, was to make each other laugh. Of course. I mean, that's what best friends do, right? And I'm not kidding. Like, we weren't any deeper than that. And this, I was reliving this, and I'm enjoying it, and I forgot that there was any point to just seeing me as a goofy kid, smoking herb for the second time. And all of a sudden, just, it got so serious when I heard myself say, I like Kelly Bray. And then in my book, I call Tammy, my real girlfriend, Kelly, because of this. Because in the ritual, I had just experienced this. And for real, in the summer before 7th grade, I was telling my friend after we got real high how, like, I am a cheesy, emotional person. And he's looking at me like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Because he's talking, I can't remember what he was saying. He was just joking around. I feel weird about starting 7th grade. And he's like, why? I go, I don't know how to say this. This is how stupid of a kid I was. How serious of a kid I was. Scared to tell anybody this. It's so funny that I was afraid to tell my best friend this. He's like, what are you... He's laughing at me. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I go, I've never told anybody this, but I'm in love with Kelly Bray. So I'm reliving this in my mushroom ritual. And I prayed to my true self for something about my wife. And I'm reliving this and just enjoying how stupid and goofy me and my friend are. And how we're smoking herb in this beautiful rock garden. Of this like manicured garden with these rock walls of like nice garnets and rose stones and quartz and beautiful. Like I said, I'll try to post some pictures in the talk of the Spanish Lake rock garden. It's called the Kuze, Kuze Farm Rock Garden, St. Louis, Missouri. You can look it up yourself. Or Spanish Lake, Missouri. And me and him were sitting in this little really special place. It's like a rock wall. It was engraved with a stone little bench with your back against like precious stones. Very beautiful. We would sit there and sometimes we would polish them with our fingers and shit. And my friend was so smart, to bring us there, to smoke herb there. And it is no lie. In my ritual, I'm just enjoying this memory. And when I said Kelly Bray, her face and like what I was in love with, like crystallized in my mind in 2012. And I said, Joey. I went, oh my God, Kelly Bray looked exactly like Joey at that age, because I had I had a picture of my wife when she was like in, 4th or 5th grade. It was probably a little less than 6th grade, because and it just looked exactly like Kelly Bray. She had her hair they just look almost like twins. And I went, Joey, like, that's why. Like, I knew my wife for a year, before, I guess you could say, I ever let her know I thought she was cute or anything, because it was weird. It's like the moment I seen her face, like something clicked. But like the vibration of her personality, and like Maria said, because she's left-handed, it almost gave me like unsure feeling. Like my honest thought was like, man, that girl is really cute, but is she a bitch? Like, I just thought, and I honestly, I guess I thought this too about Kelly Bray, maybe. But I just thought, like, she definitely don't like me, like, and that kind of made me, as a 20-year-old man, look, kind of, I was ready to find a girl and settle down. But I never had like a wild thing. I was a guitar player, artist. I wasn't like I didn't do that. I had two girlfriends before my wife, period. And one, all through high school. So I never had a girlfriend in my high school. My girlfriend went to a different high school. And she was only my girlfriend half the time. Other times she would tell me to my face, like, I cheated, I cheated on you. Don't trust me. I'm not your girlfriend. Like I was going to say, I was going to tell you these are like simultaneous things. Yeah, this was the first shockwave, like real lightning bolt shock that I ever had in my life. Like I said, it was before I could even drive. But I guess I had known my first girlfriend for like 6 months or something. And I was at a punk rock show and we got like stranded at this place. It was like 12 o'clock at night. And I thought, well, I'll try to call her. You never know. She had a car. And we were desperate, I called her and she was like, she literally said to me, like, don't call me. I don't love you. I'm totally not in love with you or something. And it really, it was one of the strangest feelings. Is like my whole body became numb, and she later would apologize, and we were friends for our, we were boyfriend, girlfriend again, off and on for 4 more years or 5 more years or something. But hearing someone say that, like, that you love, it would have been like Kelly Bray saying that to me. Like, I'm not attracted to you, Joe, you're fucked up, or something. It's a strange, deflated. It was like something I seen in my third eye, like a ball going flat, like a volleyball going flat, deflating, and just all the air. That's what happened to me. It was like in a moment, like someone sucked all the air out of life. Right? But, sorry. Back to the revelation of the true self was like, see, I knew who you should marry. It was Kelly Bray, who was reminding you of your eternal magic marriage, true love, Joey. I was like, oh my God, that makes sense. That's why I liked Kelly Bray so much, because she subconsciously, unconsciously reminded me of Joey. And my true self said to me, exactly. You wanted real answers. That's a real answer. Because I was seeing myself as like completely scared little kid, afraid to tell anyone that I liked someone, that I loved someone. Because I was weird. I was like, in 6th grade, and was like, no other girls exist to me but Kelly Bray. And even now, man, it's so crazy, because I don't know what she looks like now, but I remember. What I'm actually photographically remembering is she gave me a school picture in 6th grade. And she like signed it back, like, to Joe, a good friend or something, Kelly Bray. That picture looks like when I met she was like 12, right? When I met my wife was 19 or 20. Yeah, well, I guess she was probably 19. Yeah, she had to be if I was 20. Yeah, because she had just graduated from high school the year before. And I am not kidding. She looks like Kelly Bray, the 6th grade picture grown into a 19-year-old girl. And it's no lie, when I kind of in my own way let my she was my friend at the time, but I like seen her at like a bar, and I was like, hey, would you like to like go out of here and smoke a little herb? And she was like, sure. We did that once, and we like talked for maybe like 15 minutes, and I guess it was like a couple weeks later or something, I seen her again at the same bar. It was like a dance club bar with like an outside place, and I was like, hey, you want to do that again? Like I felt, and my only reason for approaching her again was I felt comfortable with her the first time. And that's kind of what we did as Spanish Lakers. Like, that's what you did is, instead of buying somebody a drink, you ask them, would you like, smoke some herb? I remember the same night doing it with a, kind of like a famous punk rock drummer from St. Louis. I had seen him in a bar. I was like, hey, you want to step outside and smoke? Sure, brother, let's go. That's what we did. That's how we got to know each other in St. Louis culture. 1991 style, 1990 style. Yeah. So, like, you have, like, okay, what am I getting at? Like, all the Maya matrix evidence would say that this isn't magic. But see, in the ritual, I was shown, stop looking at the illusion before. This is the evidence. I hope people can get this and, hold it for themselves to use this. This is the evidence. Before I knew anything about my wife, I was in love with an image that reminded me of her. That was what was being shown to me. And what Maria showed me is actually, it's even crazier than that. that she is my daughter and my, she's like, Joe, I am the goddamn left-handed daughter of the right-handed path. She said, you know what that means? She said, it doesn't mean I didn't have an orgasm. It means I wasn't going to have a husband. Let me explain. This is what Maria means by left-hand, right-hand path. What Maria means is the right-hand path is kind of like the American dream, right? Get married to one person, have a family, and only have sex with that person, be true to that person to the end of time. She's like, I believe in that, but not literally in this way. She said, so I am of the right-hand path in that I had a family, Siggy, and I only had sex with one person. And one person only. Siggy. This is true, though. She said, but those principles were in play. Don't mix our energies with other people because it might fuck up the plan. She's like, but it's different in this way. That those clones, those robots of the New World Order and the family values and the right-hand path of today, she's like, I'm the left-handed rebel of those people. I'm exactly opposite of those fucking people. In this, I enjoyed it. She's like, let me tell you, every bit of pussy that I ate, I enjoyed to its fullest. I hear you, lady. Like, that's the left-handed rebel. Like she said, I'm saying exactly opposite. Don't go out and mix your energies with people. The most drastic form of mixing is for a woman to allow a man in her body, whether it's their tongue, their fingers, or whatever. Like Maria said, let them touch you, let them put their fucking thing in you. Don't listen to their words, is what I'm saying. Don't even listen to words. Do you think that I would be fucking these people? I don't listen to their words. For real, that's why Maria's so original, is because she's not the audience. She's the mother, she's the leader, but she's not a tyrannical leader. You know? She's not going to force anything. But at the same time, she's not going to be led by goddamn fools at all cost. Like she said, I would have died before I had been led by anybody. She said when Rudolf Hess told me that Heinrich Himmler was going to come to my house on a Sunday afternoon and had very important news for me, I said to Siggy, he has important news for me. He has important news for me. Little does he know, I have much more important news for you, nigga. Like she said, I wasn't looking at some fucking Secretary of Defense and in charge of somebody else's country's military as anybody. You're coming over here into our magic fucking place. You're going to get schooled in our magic, nigga. We don't care if you're from the fucking military. We're from the military. We're from the fucking military of the Amanita muscaria mushroom. And, like she said, I felt no fear. I felt no intimidation. She said, people want the story? I'll give you the story, but you're never going to get the story from a fat heroin addict named Aleister Crowley. Hey, check this out. You ever check out P. Diddy? You know how he's in the news? Who's he love? Aleister Crowley, huh? Beyonce, Aleister Crowley, huh? Why is Kanye West fucking, Ye West fucking rebelling? Because he's like, Aleister Crowley sucks. Because Ye West. Look at reality. Aleister Crowley was England. Aleister Crowley was America attacking, what, in our day? Iraq. What did Iraq have to do with 9/11? Bush told you nothing. So why we do it? Because it's a war on terror. Right? Right, country boy, Republican. Sorry, I know that's a terrible voice. What do we get that? How does this tie together? You know, what am I saying about testing the spirits? Testing what is real. Testing to know for sure just for your own self. Who cares about the rest of the world? Who cares what the rest of the world? If you have to apologize, if you've been, online or whatever, and you have to, only a good sheep, only the good sheep change their wool, If you realize that, check this out. What does the word love have to do with evolve? Someone I could hear say nothing, that love backwards is evil. No, not to Maria. Okay, well, somehow, some way, it's wrapped up in this revelation. How do you figure things out, test things, and know things for sure? It comes in by surprise to give you joy, actually, the true feeling. But the note of the supernatural will be struck. You'll know. Like this, like Lou saying to me, do you understand what Maria, your mother, has been teaching you? I said, maybe, I don't know. And he's like, love, Love, is it, Joe, is it evil? Backwards? He said, I said to you, I'm the creator of this language. And this is the language of what? He said, did I say it was the language of love? I said, no. I said, for what I remember, you said it was the language of sex magic. He said, because of what? I said, that's the language we speak when we're healthy. He said, why? I said, because it comes from us. It's self-generated, and it's the greatest thing ever. He was like, ever? I was like, ever. It's the greatest reality. That's what I've been talking about, Maria. That there's like a reality called the eternal orgasm. He's like, oh yeah, I know all about it. I live there too. And you're so right. He said, so she's taught you that there's love, true love, and eternal love. And with his mind, he said, which seems to be like a loveless love. Because, why, Joe? And I said, because it's already happened. He said, yeah. He said, how does that make sense? I said, because we can count on it, we can have faith in it. We know that it doesn't depend on our choices at the moment. He's like, is that destiny? What your mother was saying to you? When you seen the hawk do the same thing twice? Exactly. He said, was that? Who did that? Who is destiny? And I go, it's something beyond even the gods. He said, yeah, exactly. Even the gods, it's beyond the magic marriage of the gods. I said, dude, I've never heard of this. And he said, it's the secret marriage. That's the reality of even the gods have a mission for you. He said, that's why Odin had more than one wife. That's why Loki had 3 wives. I said, why? He said, because that was later, that after the secret marriage had become public. He's like, you understand what I'm saying? I go, no. He goes, I'm talking about on Earth as a being trying to have food, clothes, and shelter. That you might have 2 wives that you're already, or 3, or he said, who knows, in the 1500s or the 1200s, you know, how people had to work together just to survive. He said, I'm telling you, what if you were a good person like that, but you fell in love? And you knew it was because it had already happened. I go, I don't even, for real, I said to him, I don't even know if I'm following you. I don't even understand what you mean. This is no lie. This is how I tie this all together. You know, it's how you test shit. This is no lie. As people know, I was a Rastafarian. This is what Lucifer told me. He said, this is what we all call the secret marriage. And he said to me, do you remember this? And dude, I had this dream. And I had been going out to my friend's house that lived in this county right off of the Mississippi River. You know, down like the highway, like 20 miles. It's called Old Monroe. Old Maryland, Monroe. In Old Maryland, Monroe, Missouri, I had been going, and it's like this highway that goes along the Mississippi River. I don't know, I'm dreaming. The river is so flooded that it's actually over the road, which is completely, I think, probably impossible in real life. Maybe not. I mean, it's pretty damn far from the actual highway. I mean, you can see the wood line, but it's a ways. And in this dream, it's all the way to the fucking, all the way to the highway, and they're making us go up this little hill, this little mountain, to go around the flood. And we're tripping out. We're like, how the fuck don't we know about this? What the fuck are we doing? Should we turn back, you know? Or we're talking to a cop, like, is it, you know, can we get over to the certain street? Because we were actually playing music and recording there. No lie. This is what Lou showed me. And it's outrageous, but it's real. And so in this dream that I'm being told this is somehow to do, and I didn't even understand at first when he was saying how it had to do with a secret marriage. But so we're trying to get to our friend's house that we were recording with. It had like the Pro Tools recording, and it's like just like sunset, and we think we can get to their house, but right before we get to their house, it's like their house and their street was like kind of up on a little hill, and we're like, can you fucking believe this? It was like surrounded by water, and we're like, dude, we came all this way, and we have to turn back. We could see their hill to their street, but it's like a little fucking river in between from where we are and their street. But not far, you know, it's just like 50 yards. And we had driven like, you know, 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And we get out of the car, and we're smoking a cigarette, just looking at this flood and shit. And okay, remember, this is crazy, but this has to do with Lucifer. So I had been a Christian at this time for like 8 years, and not a Rastafarian. In the stream, 8 years after leaving Rastafari, we're looking at our friend's house surrounded by water by this flood, and two dudes in a boat come over to us, with a little motor. And they're like, and they are two Rastas that I knew, the cult leader guy and a black Panamanian Rasta that I guess is like the cult leader. I never hooked up with this guy, connected to this guy. I never had a real connection. I guess he was just I don't even know, but he's clearly a Rasta, calls himself a Rasta. What's crazy is this night that Lou was showing me this was after, it was like a couple weeks after, he told me, I'm Jah. I'm Rastafari. So when I was reliving this in my ritual, I was like, hold it. So this whole thing was like the two Rastas coming to get me in the boat was like prophesying that you are Jah. Like, even though they look so bad, they look absolutely the worst people to represent Rasta. He was saying exactly, but I'm still Jah. I'm Jah of this world, And I was like, okay, I get it. I still didn't have anything that, I still had no idea what this was about, even though I was like fascinated. And so me and my friend both get in this little boat, like a little fishing boat, tiny. And we only got to go, like I said, like 50 yards. And they take us right over there. And we get out and start walking to our friend's house. And as we're walking to our friend's house, like, some people like started running out from like the neighborhood. And they were all like hippie dreadlock people. And most of them white, like almost all of them white from what I just, specifically remember. And they're like, hey, the lady's going to love to see you. I'm like, the lady? What lady? I mean, I this is like I said, like 2008. And I'm like, well, what the fuck are they talking about? We think we're going to record at my friend's house. And as we're walking up the hill to their house, I'm like, man, dude, this ain't even her street. Their street. His street. And my friend's like, yeah, oh my God, where the fuck are we? Because there was like 4 or 5 people with us, like young people. And they were like, yeah, she's waiting to see you. The lady's, she's here too. She's waiting to see you. They're like, we're good. We got everything. We got food. We got water. And I'm going, what? What? Me and my friend are looking at each other going, dude, do they think we're someone else? And we're just walking with these people. And they're like, yeah, she's got some weed too. She'll definitely give you guys some weed. Because I guess they were smelling weed on us. They're like, oh, you guys want to smoke, don't you? I was like, me and my friend looked at each other like, yeah, sure. And like the one kid that kept talking to me, he was like a real blonde hair looking blue-eyed kid with dreadlocks. And every time he had talked to me, I'd look at him and go, man, you look healthy. You look like one healthy motherfucker, And finally, like as we got closer, he was like, hey, she's my mother. I'm her assistant. Like, I'm her son, but I'm also her assistant. Like, I'll go get her. She's been waiting to see you. And I'm looking at my friend like, what the fuck are these people talking about? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I like them now. He's like, they got it. This is great. He's like, it's fucking what he was going like, what a coincidence. We show up on the other side of a flood in a fucking Rasta commune that has a lot of herb and shit. And like, we were feeling such good vibes from these people. And like when we walked up the hill that we thought right over the hill, it was like just a regular neighborhood. We thought right over the hill it continued as a regular neighborhood, and our friend's house was there. But now, as we got up there, it was like all changed, and there was one big building. You know, it looked like a compound, looked like a school, a barn, a house, more other buildings around it. You know, and I'm like, what? Like that. I said. We're like, where the fuck are we? So we go inside, and the kid, this blonde hair, like 15-year-old kid, is like, he's like, brother, just stay right here. She's going to be so excited to see you. And he's like, stay right here. Don't move. Like, I'm going to go get my mom. And it took like 10 minutes. And all of a sudden, it's like the place started filling up with people, and people are coming, greeting me, shaking my hand. And I'm like, man, dude. And they act like they knew me. I see my friend that came over there with like a coffee and some food, and he was loving it, smoking, drinking, eating. And the kid, the 15-year-old kid, he runs over to me. He's like, I want you to stand right here in this doorway. Okay? And he's like, when the music starts, we're going to turn down the lights, and my mom's going to come into the other doorway, and she wants you to meet her in the middle of the room. I seriously looked around me. I go, you talking to me? I'm supposed to do this? He's like, yes, she's been waiting for you. I go, okay, whatever. I literally was like, are you sure? Me? And for real, all of a sudden it got kind of dramatic. And like everyone cleared it. It was like a big barn that was converted into almost like a stage and like meeting place without chairs though. It had like an open floor. And like he said, they turned on the lights, and she was carrying like a tray with a plate, with 2 plates on it and shit. I'm like, hold it. I go, first of all, when I first seen her, it was like they turned on the lights, but there was a light in each doorway. When I very first seen her, it like kind of took my breath away. I go, oh my God, they're making such a big deal about this woman because she's so beautiful. Like, I really did. I went like, oh my God, she's Goldilocks. Like, because from far away, all I could really see was her hair and kind of the outline of her face. And I was like, oh, I got happy. I was like, why does this lady want to see me? You know? And I was like, I guess it's good news, you know? And she's carrying this tray, right? And the young kid ran over to me. As she started walking towards me, I was just standing there. The kid ran over to me. He's like, remember, I said, you meet her in the middle, like walk towards her. So I started walking out there, and we met in the middle, and the lights were still dim. No one could really see us, but everyone was looking at us. And I looked right at her. This was in 2008. And I went, who are you? Who are you? Like, I thought I was going to recognize her. And her face, I just went, I don't know. You know, I didn't know her in 2008. And I was just like, she was like psychically with my thoughts. I said, who are you? Who are you? Like, I looked, she was smiling and holding this tray. But she didn't answer psychically. I said, "Who are you?" And with her mouth, she said, "I've brought this for you, and I've met you in the middle." And she's like, "I'm so happy you're here." And I thought, you know me? For real. And it was like she could sense my thoughts. I didn't even say it out loud. She could sense my thought, and she was like, "No, I do know you. I know exactly who you are." And I was so happy. I felt like I had amnesia. I was like, holy shit, so if you know who I am, maybe you can help me. Because I don't know who I am. This was in 2000. I swear I had this dream. And Lucifer on May 5th, 2024 was telling me, I gave you this fucking dream that this... And I'll go on with that later after I finish it. Right? And I'm just looking at her. She had such beautiful blonde hair, very long, and beautiful makeup. I remember thinking, like, your makeup's so pretty. And she had a little braid. She had the top of her head was like in two braids going into another braid, but also two little braids that came down on each side of her face. And then all of the rest of the hair was out, not braided, you know. It was very unique. I was just totally captivated by what she looked like, and I did not know who she was. And it's so crazy. This is how it ended. And she was holding a tray, but I was just captivated by her for a second, like frozen. And she goes, "Joe, I brought this for you." And she's holding this very nice, like, tray. And I looked down, and it's two plates. On one plate was like a nice glass pipe. And on the other tray was like a beautiful green orange bud. And I looked back at her and laughed and went, "You do know me. Oh my God, like you do." And she started laughing, we started laughing, and everyone else started laughing. And she was still holding the tray, and I kind of went to like hug her. And when I did, it was like we shifted into a completely different realm in the dream. And I almost knew I was dreaming. Like when I grabbed her, I went like, "What is really going on? Like, who are you really?" And I woke up. And I remember writing that dream down and telling my friend that dream, and her going, "That's pretty wild. You know, who is that girl? Who is that woman?" Right? So that was in 2008. In 2024, May 5th, I relived that, just like I told you. And Lucifer said, he said, "Joe, life is complex." He said, "As you know, you're not going to be happy unless you produce good work." And he said, "The gods, as your mother told you, can't be wrong. The magic wedding isn't based on your feelings. It's based on vibration and what it will produce as a work." He said, "Truly, your magic wife, Mindy, said to you, me and her balance you. Me and her balance you." He said, "That's one thing." And that was proven in the Matrix. And if you're ever going to imagine your own world, you won't be able to do it without them, because you won't have the backing of the Aldebaran gods. He said, "But I know you've been troubled, as your mother said to you before, that there's someone else or something else." And he said, "It's so funny that you can't comprehend these." You know, he's like, "You're so yourself that you can't imagine the truth until it's told to you." He's like, "Joe, on a real life, there's always like a secret level." He's like, "Where does it go to?" I go, before we came here. He goes, yeah? What about before that? I go, to the fucking egg, to Nirvana. He said, yeah. He said, so that vibration in that egg, did it come out of here to do work, to do art? I went, no. He said, it came out of here for the secret marriage. He said, this is what it means to go against the gods, go beyond the gods. He said, I know you're being confused. How? And you said to Maria last week, can the gods be wrong? And she said, what? No. And you said, why? And she said, because it's producing exactly what they planned. And he said, I'm telling you right now, the wife that was given to you was to ensure that you do not get caught up in the world. You won't. He said, I understand. You were too sick. And you were doing the best. He said, let me tell you, it's all on purpose, Joe. He said, you're going to give thanks that there was a left-handed, right-handed, left-handed person, a right-hand path, left-handed rebel that made sure that you, and I said, had no success. And he said, right. He said, because would you be here tonight? I said, no. He said, do all things work together for those who love their mother? I said, yep. He said, all the suffering? I said, yeah. He said, is it all worth the secret marriage? I said, yep. It really is. He said, but what will they think? I said, I don't know. It must already be. He's like, yeah, it already is. He said, believe it. When I told you, can 2 people be one? Yes. Can 3 people be one? Yes. Can 4 people be one? Yes. Can 5 people be one? Yes. That's beyond the gods. That's beyond. And he said they don't mind. They want you to go beyond them. That's what it means to be an individual. I said, this was before Lou. I started to get comfortable, and I knew he wasn't fucking with me anymore. I said, you know what? That's fucking incredible, dude. I said to him that night, I still don't know who that girl is. He said, I do. I described her exactly to him. He said, I take responsible. I'm responsible for her. It's my... He said, don't blame Maria if you get anxious. He said, she's more my responsibility than Maria. He said, put it this way, in this simulation, this matrix hologram, you are Maria's responsibility. She's mine. And do you understand what I'm saying? It's like a lifelong of information and dots connecting that proves the truth. Like you can't prove it in the middle of it. When a voice is speaking to you and you say, who the fuck are you? And it doesn't answer, what are you going to do? What are you going to believe? Well, let me tell you, you can't trust that. You got to trust the whole of the supernatural. You have to seek the miraculous, seek the supernatural. You have to manifest the energy. You have to do whatever it takes to have the actual physical mind power energy to produce a thought that would say, I have nothing to lose. If there's other worlds, then let me visit them. You know, and let me know the truth. Why should I be the one? And brothers and sisters, we're going to continue, but we love you, and we wish for a earth, wind, and fire of love and health and purity of blood and cellular energy to be with you, and that healing to he, all, you know, the blue, the Lulu lunar magnetic healing to draw out just the bad energy, and may we balance together, because surely balance is happiness.
Mama's hands hold the stories of the past, whispered tales of journeys, shadows they cast. Daddy's voice echoes through the quiet night. Don't forget your roots, girl, keep them in sight. In every tear that falls, I feel them near. Roots run deep where my heart finds home. In the swell of the blues, I don't on the road. Through the struggles and the pain, I still stand proud. With every strum of the guitar, I'll sing out loud. Spent my days wandering through the willow trees, searching for a wisdom carried by the breeze. Memories wrapped in every noble tune, guiding me gently like a glowing moon. On a road, who came before, don't lose your way. Roots run deep where my heart finds home. In the swell of the blues, I don't on the road. Through the struggles and the pain, I still stand proud. With every strum of the guitar, I'll sing out loud. Remembering love that will never fade. In the rhythm of my soul, their legacies laid.